Running in circles, never leave me alone. Say I don't answer the messages or pick up my phone. Say we all need some.
On April 2021, the UK Visa and Immigration UKVI has released new guidelines to its decision makers on how to consider and grant asylum application by members of Biafran secessionist group. The Cable can report. Asylum is to be granted to persecuted members of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, which has been designated as a terrorist organization by the Nigerian government and the movement for the actualization of the sovereign state of Biafra, MASSOB. IPOB was formed in 2012 by MASSOB and is believed to be an offshoot of MASSOB, which was founded in 1999 by Raf Wazurike. Fellow viewers, this news is the week's update. The said IPOB members have been proscribed a terrorist by the Nigerian government in 2014, and to date, the world have found them innocent. They have not been convicted of any crime, or they have not been convicted of any weapon. They are only agitating for freedom. They felt they are being marginalized by the Nigerian government. Before the colonial master came, they have been a nation, functioning, doing their doings. But since they have been colonized, they have been facing so many troubles. They have fought a civil war in the year 1967 to 1970, and up to date, they felt they are being marginalized. Let's hear from some viewers what they have to say about it. Watch.
The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, has reacted to the United Kingdom's decision to grant asylum to persecuted members of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra and the movement for the actualization of the sovereign state of Biafra, MASSOB. On Tuesday, the minister said the decision amounts to sabotaging the fight against terrorism and disrespects Nigeria as a nation. The decision of the United Kingdom to grant asylum falls within the new guidelines of the United Kingdom's visa and immigration rules on how to treat asylum applications by members of Biafra's secessionist groups. Rufai, I believe that IPOB have responded to this decision, and they have thanked the United Kingdom, but they obviously declined it because what they seek is really not asylum, but a sovereign Biafra state. Your take on the story?
I mean, this has been on for a while, the push for a sovereign state of Biafra. Let's not forget that we fought a war as regards this in the 60s. We made efforts at healing, no victor, no vanquish, but the factors that caused the war are still rife in our faces now as we speak today. We had an interview, not quite long, with Ayo Adebanjo, and he made some very salient points. Not necessarily all I agree with him. The fact that the country is still very marginalized across many lines, there are agitations here and there. There's a way we should look at the constitution that has not been done. The fact that Nigeria functioned better as federating units back in the days and regional systems. And that's why we're having the offshoot of all of this. In the first place, if we are fair to one another, we shouldn't have agitations like this in the first place. If we continue with, the regional system, if it wasn't turned into a unitary system after, the coup and what happened in the 60s, we shouldn't be having what we are having today. So this agitation, and as it is in other parts of the country, is because of the fact that something needs to be done. So for me, I think it's a clarion call. If we're trying to build one strong Nigeria, we should build a Nigeria where people are seeking asylum in other parts of the world. We should build a Nigeria that is inclusive with justice. And that's what we keep calling for. When you check every part of the country, there's agitation. The question we should be asking, why are we having these agitations? We're talking about Sunday Igboho in the south. We're talking about Biafra. We're talking about other parts of the country. But we should build a country that is inclusive, that works for everybody. And how can we do that? Is when we rejig the format at which we're even working together in the first place. So it's a bigger talk, bigger than the case of asylum seeking and the UK talking about all of this. It is a call on us to build our country with fairness and having great conversations. And where does it start from? Reviewing the recommendations in the Sovereign National Conference we had in 2014. That is there wasting away. Because in 2014, we called every part of this country to come together and talk of how the future of the country will be. And we did talk. And we did make recommendations. So the question is, are we leaving those recommendations behind? Because we need to make this country work one way or the other. So the information minister here can be upset about the fact that asylum is being granted to IPOB members. But the question we should ask ourselves is this. If we truly have a country that works for all, do we need to get to this level where there's so much violence in every part of the country? See what's happening in the East. See what's happening in the West. Everywhere you turn to in this country, there's violence. The reason why we have this violence, because of the injustice, the iniquity, the iniquities, I should use that word, over the years. The fact of marginalization. The fact that this country works for some, it doesn't work for some. That's why we have 33% unemployment. So it cuts across all. And this is the time leadership should stand tall. I always use the word rise up twice at stall to be able to tackle the problems we are facing so that we don't derail the country.
All right.
What are the issues involved here? The issues are as follows. One, the UK Visas and Immigrant Department, the consular office, as it were, declared in new guidelines that persecuted members of the indigenous peoples of Biafra will be granted asylum, visas, right, if they are persecuted. Now, the position of the United Kingdom is consistent with the 1956 UN Convention on Refugees and the 1967 Protocol, which removes geographical and time limits from the original 1956 Convention. And the issue is about human rights. It's not about IPOB as an organization. It's about individual rights, human rights. And what the principle under the 1956 Convention says about asylum is that if you are in a country, whether you're a member of IPOB or you're a member of any group, if you are persecuted, then the international community will come to your rescue and offer you refuge. So to that extent, I do not think that the United Kingdom has committed any offense that requires the kind of emotional response that came from the minister. Second issue, the Minister of Information of Nigeria says, well, if the UK is now going to be granting asylum to members of IPOB, not as an organization, persecuted members, then it means that the UK is sabotaging Nigeria, the UK is encouraging terrorism in Nigeria, and he also pointed out that IPOB is a proscribed organization.
Yes.
But he made one very instructive point. He said, well, this is not within his purview. It falls within the purview of the Minister of Foreign Affairs. And there are established protocols in customary international law if a country wants to object to a step taken by another country. The 1956 Convention is not absolute. It says that once you can establish that that particular individual who is seeking asylum has committed crime against peace, has committed crime against UN protocols, then of course you can raise an objection. So if Nigeria is going to raise an objection, it's not at a news agency of Nigeria forum where the minister is giving a speech. It will be something that will follow protocols within customary international law. Now, what is the issue? Again, the third issue that remains is simply that anybody can apply for asylum, whether you are a member of IPOB or not, okay, as long as it's within that convention. And the whole issue is about, as I said earlier, human rights. And that's why that 1956 convention is managed, is overseen by the United Nations Commission for Human Rights. So as far as I'm concerned, the minister has expressed an opinion, which anybody can express. but specific issues will be dealt with on a case-by-case basis,
Correct.
and whether or not Nigeria makes an objection. However, we should all remember that consular rights are domiciled within the province of the country that is issuing visa, or that is adopting immigrants, or that is granting asylum. It's not a thing that Nigeria can dictate to another country under the principles of sovereignty.
Well said, Dr. Batichundu.
Well, absolutely not. Nigeria cannot dictate. And the idea is not that if you're in IPOB or MASSOB, you get asylum. No. All the cases will be examined on their merits, and then a decision will be made. It's not about if you're being prosecuted in your country, come here. It's about if you're being persecuted. And the minister is doing, I suppose, what he's expected to do, expressing his umbrage at this. But, you know, I have front row experience of being a political prisoner and dealing with all of that. At that time in Nigeria, the Nigerian government, the Abacha regime, took umbrage against other countries that were giving safe harbor to persecuted Nigerians who fled for their lives. So I have the same reaction in this regard. They have no right to come out with this kind of a statement. There are people who feel persecuted, and the right to life is sacrosanct. If you feel that your life is in danger because 150 members of IPOB were killed in this country, you have the right to leave.
Absolutely.
The Nnamdi Kanu, a political prisoner, I'm sorry, he didn't kill or kidnap. He was held for a year and a half without trial as a political prisoner. It is unacceptable, and that is just the fact of the matter. If the Nigerian government insists on pretending, sticking their heads in the sand like an ostrich, pretending that we operate a level playing field, this is a note to them to see that other people are not convinced, other people are not persuaded. There is the impression that is very real that Nigeria is sympathetic to some people and unsympathetic to others, unfairly so. We have somebody sitting in the cabinet today who was saying that unbelievers should be killed. He's delighted when, what was that nonsense he was saying, that hateful rhetoric?
He says he has recanted.
Yeah, but he did say it.
And he has repented.
But he did say it.
He deserves a plate of jollof rice.
Exactly. So that impression is there. I would urge the federal government to look within and to correct that. Absolutely. And the IPOB message is also clear to the United Kingdom. Thank you, but no thank you. We don't want to be residents of the United Kingdom. We want to be citizens of Biafra.
Correct.
So I would urge the federal government to address why their citizens are all attempting to jump ship and work on that rather than pointing fingers.
Very well said.
Yeah, if you ask me, the offer is cool, but I don't think that's what all this agitation is all about. The leader of the indigenous people of Biafra have stated it clearly that all he needs is referendum. Why not grant him the space? Why not give him referendum? Why not come back to the round table? Let's discuss. Let us know if we can continue or not. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. Thank you so much. If you like this video, why not give it a like, the thumb up, and also click on the subscribe button. Don't forget to press the notification bell so that when next I upload next video, you will be the first to be notified. Thank you.